everyone, welcome to Small and Scrappy. I'm really excited to be here with you today with my first process video. You can see here I'm showing you the photo that I've used. It's just a selfie of me and my friend at the pub a few weeks ago. It's not a particularly special one, I just thought it was cute so I wanted to scrap it. So here I'm just matting the photo on some papers from the Mind the Scrap April kit. It's quite a simple layout overall. It's one I did when I was in a bit of a rut, and we had a challenge going in the Mind the Scrap Facebook group for our June Flash challenges. This one was to scraplift another member, and I borrowed a layout from Cherie Hope to do that. So here I'm just auditioning another paper to go on the final layer of matting. I decided I don't really like any of the colours on that sort of pie chart effect paper or the other side, so I go with this dark wood grain instead. I really like the writing on the side there. I think that adds an extra little something to the matting. I've cut out quite a lot of my double-sided tape and peeling and sticking, so you don't have to sit through all of that because it can be quite painful. I think I had new-ish nails that day and I was struggling a bit, so yeah, I've cut a lot of that out. Just using my scissors to cut around the border rather than having to turn around to my paper trimmer every time because it is on a different part of my desk and it's a bit of a pain. So yeah, there I'm just working out what I want to put on the border, and I've cut another strip from the one of the papers that I've used in the matting. Because it's ombre, it's quite a different colour, so yeah, you can't really tell it's from the same sheet of paper, but it still ties in quite nicely. And I've used some thinner double-sided tape on that one because my normal stuff was a bit too wide, but I've still had to use 2 strips, so and just lining it up nice and straight and just making sure I'm happy with the position of the photo there before I stick it down, although I do actually end up moving it, as you'll see in a minute, and I make a right mess of the paper. This isn't actually proper cardstock or anything I've used here, it's just the infill from a page protector. Yeah, I do use those quite a lot when I'm not doing anything sort of too heavy in mixed media, or if it's not a particularly special layout and I'm just trying to use up some scraps, like I'm doing here. So if you have any of those lying around, go ahead and use them. Just be warned that they don't hold up when you start doing things like this. Yeah, so this is when I realised that in the photo I'm kind of looking off the page and in a different direction to my friend. And I do think that when your photo subject is looking off the layout or not at anything in particular, it can end up looking not quite right, or at least I haven't liked it here when I've noticed. It's not massive, it's a very subtle look off to the side, but yeah, it just didn't quite gel with me once I'd picked it up. So because I've already stuck everything down, I didn't want to rip the page up anymore. I've spun it round, so I'm doing it opposite to the layout I'm lifting, and I've just stuck the photo down there to cover up the worst of the rips. And here I'm just looking through some of the ephemera pack from the April kit to sort of audition a few pieces for the layout. I'm not sure I actually end up using anything from this die cut pack. Those crayons were cut off a bigger piece of ephemera. I think they were attached to a sort of journal card, which I'd used on another layout. But I needed something sort of a bit longer and quite colourful to use as a sort of banner there. I definitely don't end up using that piece. You can see I've got a 12x12 chipboard sheet to the side, which I pulled out to maybe use as well, and that is mostly what I end up using. So yeah, I'm just putting all those away now. One thing that's really bugged me about where I've had to change the position of the photo is that the white writing's now on the wrong side. I really wanted that to be on the border side, but it's not the end of the world. It's still there, as I say, it adds a little something extra. Yeah, so there I'm just pulling off that tassel banner from the chipboard sheet I've got there, which is from the Crepe Paper Good Vibes range, I think. I've had that in my stash for ages and not used too much of it, so it's good to get a few of them down. And you can see even there I wanted to change my mind as to where I was putting it, but I've ripped it up and realised the paper is in such a state underneath that I wanted to cover it up, so I ended up using it anyway. And there I'm just auditioning a few smaller pieces to go in the corner there. I'd end up not using the chill that I'm playing around with right now, but I wish I had actually. The high five that I've ended up putting down, it still works, but I feel like the chill suited the vibe and the story of the layout a little bit more. And here I'm just starting to work out a title with these glitter word thickers. I absolutely love how these look, but they're so fiddly to get down, where they're sort of handwriting style. They can be quite fiddly to get to lie straight, well, not straight, but the way they're supposed to. I've used that ampersand from the chipboard sheet. That was a real achievement, actually managing to use an ampersand. I was not a fan of the ampersand trend in all the scrapbooking collections. It seems to have died down recently, so I'm quite pleased about that, but I've still got quite a few to use. So as you're about to see, the title of the layout is going to be Work and Play. So this particular trip to the pub, it was the week I started a new job. So we popped down to our local to celebrate, and they also had an alternative music night on, which we enjoyed very much. It was shortly after the closing of another local bar, which we used to go to a lot, so it was quite nice for us to go somewhere and actually have a lot more of the music that we like. And I'm just adding a few more small chipboard pieces from the 12x12 sheet there. And here I've brought in some of the tiny word stickers from the April kits as well. You can see that there's a few different sheets in different colours. They don't actually all have the same words and phrases on, which I'd wanted to use some that were in one colour but not in that colour, if that makes sense. But I may do. So I'm just picking out a few that I like. I think I mainly focus on that sort of purple ombre sheet, which matches the colours that I've used for that border strip, that sheet of paper that I've used there, and in the matting as well. So yeah, no, I use a mix of the ombre ones and those white ones there as well. And I've picked out lovely my go-to a day in the life, and I have used the black ones as well. Okay, the best. And what's the last one I use? I think I'm divvying a bit over the last choice. What just today. Yeah, so yeah, all phrases that are quite applicable to the story. It was a lovely night. This friend is my go-to. She is my bestie. And it was a day in the life because we were celebrating the good news and the good week that I'd had in my new job. And here I've just put a bunch of sequins all around, as you can see. I've cut out most of that because it got a bit fiddly. And then I'm just putting a sort of subtitle there using the tiny glitter alphas in the turquoise there. I think they're a Heidi swap, I want to say. And I'm just using them to spell out hashtag tart times, because the name of the pub is the White Hart, but everyone calls it the Tart. Yeah, fiddling a bit with the position there, and I think my camera actually cut out at this point, so here's some photos of the finished layout. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and I'm hoping to get some more of these up soon. So bye for now, guys.